All right, good evening, everybody. How are we doing today? Let's go ahead. There we go. Oop, sorry. The light is at the worst possible spot. That looks positively ghoulish, so let me adjust some lighting here real quick. That gets turned down. There we go. That's a lot better. All right. Hello, 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 everybody. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Tonight is going to be a little bit of a different stream than previous because we are going to be painting some clan mechs instead of inner sphere mechs. It's been a bit since I've done this. At least on camera. I like to think I've learned a few things between then and now. We'll see if that is actually the case. Let's see. Let's make sure. Can I post this link to the music we're listening to? Hopefully that works. I don't know. If anybody is currently watching and you can check that link for me, that would be fantastic. All right, but that is the playlist we're going to be starting with tonight. So yeah, tonight is going to be interesting because we've got a few things that are new. Like I said, we're going to be doing some clan mechs. I'm just organizing my paints a little bit because they're kind of scattered everywhere. Couple things that are new. So first off, we've got some new paint. This is cheap acrylic paint that we got at not Barnes & Noble, at Walmart. But we got a black and we got a royal purple. That's going to be kind of our color scheme for tonight. We also have a couple of new brushes. A friend of mine recommended using makeup brushes for dry brushing minis. He said that they tend to work really well, and my wife just happened to have a set of them that she wasn't planning on using, so I was able to requisition those. Requisition, not acquisition. Similar words, but different. The other thing that we've got is, let's see here, and boom. Like I said, we've got some different clan mechs. So we have a range of those that we'll talk about in a second. But we also have different priming options, like different bases. So this guy here is a mech that I primed with my initial batch of primed minis using a kind of slate gray spray primer. This guy I just primed in the last couple of days using a white spray primer. So I don't know if you can see or tell, but there's a lot more definition in the detail on the white primer versus the dark primer. So I'm actually pretty happy with this new primer, and I'm really looking forward to working with it. That being said, I do need to figure out what I'm going to do with my mechs. So, sorry, let me go ahead and I'm going to close that for the moment. I'll move those off to the side. We've got a collection of guys that have been primed and are ready to go. So I am a big fan of the Mad Cat, aka the Timberwolf, if you're from the clan side of things. The Timberwolf is probably my favorite mech in all of MechWarrior. I think that's the case for a lot of people because it was like the poster child for the Battletech universe for at least a couple of the early video games, if not a lot of other stuff. So it's pretty cool. I've got a soft spot in my heart for it. I've got one primed in white, one primed in gray, but mostly I need to figure out what unit they're all going to be part of. So I went ahead, as many of you probably know, I painted up some mechs way back when I was first getting started. I painted up a couple clan mechs in this kind of blue, black, white, silver color scheme, which ultimately proved to be kind of a pain in the ass. So we're not going to be doing that with the next round. I like the way it turned out, but this is going to be limited to just this one star, which is a group of 5 mechs that the clans use. I went ahead and tested out on, this was another gray primed mini. I went ahead and painted up this, it's called a mongrel, aka, or no, sorry, this is a, is this an ice ferret? I always get these confused. Hold on a second. I'm not as familiar with the clan mechs as I am the inner sphere mechs, so sometimes I have to just double check myself before I make an egregious error. Yeah, sorry, this is an ice ferret. So this guy has, I was going for a darker purple on this one. Didn't pan out, as you can see. It's more of a pastel color, but that's okay. It actually turned out better than I originally thought it had turned out when I had first finished it. I was really like kind of bummed with the outcome, but after I hit it with the Mod Podge and let that seal and everything like that, it actually turned out pretty good. So I need to do 4 more in this color scheme. I haven't decided which ones I'm going to do yet, but that's something to consider. I do have that like nice deep kind of rich purple that I want to use, and that's going to be kind of the main base, the main color for this next lance that I want to work on. Hold on a second. Can I turn that down a little bit more? There we go. Perfect. So yeah, that is kind of my consideration at this point. Now, I could just go with these guys in the color scheme that I have there. That wouldn't be a problem. Let's see. I want to say in the gray primed ones, I've got a... Yeah. So I've got a vulture, aka a mad dog, if you're on the clan side of things. Obviously, the timber wolf. So timber wolf, the mad dog, and then I've got a... I think it's a gargoyle. I should have looked these up. Whoops. Yeah, so I've got the gargoyle as well, which is a pretty beefy assault mech. It's pretty cool. So that's an option, and then I've got this guy who I am totally forgetting the name on. So I'm gonna have to look that up because it's gonna look. Wait, here we go. Okay. Whoops. Sorry. Nudged my camera just a little bit and threw it off. All right, so I know I've got the cards in here that'll help me identify these, so I'm just going to pull those out real quick. Make this a lot easier. Now I know it's an assault mech, so that'll also make it a little bit easier for me to identify. It's not a Warhawk. It's not a Supernova. It's definitely not a Stone Rhino. I know that one. Not a Marauder 2C. That's this guy here. It's not a Kodiak. I haven't primed that one yet. That's the Gargoyle. Executioner. That's what it is. So Mad Cat, Mad Dog, Gargoyle, Executioner. Over on the other side here, I've got a Mad Cat, a Summoner, a Marauder Mark II, a Nova, and I forget what that one is. Let's look that one up. That's going to be a medium mech, so I'm just going to flip to the medium mech section. Nope. Nope. Stormcrow. That's a Stormcrow. So yeah, that's what we're working with. So Mad Cat, Summoner, Marauder 2C. Apologies for the ad. I don't know why they've suddenly started playing ads in that music. Marauder 2C, Stormcrow, and a Nova. I think this one is the one I want to do in the black and royal purple, and I'm going to do these guys in the silver and light purple, or I guess gray. Came out more gray than silver, but anyways. So yeah, that's the plan. Now, I'm not going to do more of the light purple this time around. I'm going to instead, I think, go with these guys. I want to try out one of these white primed minis, and I want to try out that color scheme and see how well it comes through. So yeah, I think I'm going to start. I've already painted up a Nova in the blue, black, silver color scheme. So I'm not going to start with the Nova. I'll hit that one in a minute. The Marauder 2C has nice big panels, but I want to be careful not to do this one first, because I don't want to mess it up, and I'd like to perfect the color combo that I'm using. So why is it telling me that I haven't logged in here? This is strange. No, that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, you know what? I think I lied. Maybe I'll start with the Nova, because I've already painted a Nova, and if this one ends up a little bit wonky, I won't be too upset about it. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll start with the Nova, and then what we'll probably do is we'll also hit the... I do like the Summoner a lot. It's very reminiscent of the Thunderbolt on the Inner Sphere side. That's one of my favorite mechs. So I think I'll do the Stormcrow and the Nova at the same time. Basically, I'm going to, at the very least, get the base layer down on both of them, and then from there I will figure out what we're gonna do. Oh, I also, my wife happened to have a palette knife lying around, so if I need to mix colors, I've got this available to me to do so. Though I shouldn't need to do that as much anymore, because I've got the other paints, and those paints come in a variety of different colors. So I say that, and then I realize I'm gonna need to. I don't want to go with a pure black, but I don't want to use gray. So yeah. So grab my white for a bit of mixing. I've got my black here. These are brand new paints, so they're not all open yet. Apologies while I rectify that. There we go. So we got that one. And we got this one. So something that I've learned since starting all this is that you want to go from lighter to darker. So I think what I'm going to do, oops, that's not the one I want to start with. I want to start with this bad boy. So I think what I want to do is I want to start with the purple base layer as the primary color that I'm going to block with. And then I can do the more detailed stuff with the black, or, well, it's really going to be a really dark gray, but that's beside the point, in order to cover up any sloppiness with the purple. Now, as for sloppiness and everything like that with the purple, we got to figure out where the purple is going to go. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do both legs purple with a couple of black accent-like pieces on some of the panels. I'm going to do the central kind kind of torso bit, like the shoulders and such. I'm going to do all of that in purple, and then I'm going to do the cockpit in black. I'm going to do the laser barrels, the hands in black. Might do the feet in black. I haven't decided that yet. Yeah, I think that's the plan. So it's going to be a fairly simple paint job. Nothing too complex, nothing crazy. But in order to do that, obviously, we've got to grab a couple things. So let's get some purple out on the palette. I also realized that I've got this wax paper that came with the palette that is intended to make it so you just put down a bit of paint and then you throw it away later rather than making a mess of the palette like I have because I didn't clean it. But that's beside the point. All right, so just wanted to swish that around a little bit, make sure that it was. Oh yeah, that's a good purple. I'm happy with that. Where are my paper towels? There we go. Just grab one. You're gonna move over here. You're gonna come over here. You're gonna move over there. And I got a little bit of purple on myself already. Where is my... There we go. That's the one I want. So I have been going maybe a little bit overboard with the mechs. I now have enough mechs to do 3 full inner sphere companies. And a company is at least 3 lances within one unit. And so 3 lances 4, so it's 12 mechs per company. And I've got 3 of those, plus 2 like kind of independent solo lances of 4 each. So that's 36 and 8 is 44 just on the inner sphere side. Not counting the 6 Comstar mechs that I've got, putting me at 50. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 stars of clan mechs, and each star is 5, so that's another 20, maybe 25, I don't know. I've got a lot of mechs, is what I'm saying, and I've only painted a small portion of them. So I've made a resolution that I'm not buying any more mechs until I get the ones that I have painted. Of course, I did back the Catalyst Game Labs Mercenaries Kickstarter, so that could throw a little bit of a wrench in the works if that arrives before I finish painting everything, but I really, really hope it doesn't. I would be kind of embarrassed if that ended up being the case. Alright, so I'm just watering down my purple because everybody always tells me thin your paints, start with 2 thin coats, so that's where we're at. Yeah. This is kind of a weird playlist. I'm not sure why it's got, like, flight instruction voiceover in it, but there it is. Alright, and so we're basically just going to start slapping some paint on this bad boy. I think I am going to make the legs black, so I'm not going to worry about getting any purple on there. Or so I'm going to have the feet black. The legs are going to be purple, but the feet are going to be black. I already really like this purple color. This is looking pretty good. And let's see. Might be a little bit quiet tonight. I don't have a ton to talk about. Kind of just being a little bit meditative. You know, just enjoying the painting process. I actually haven't painted anything on my own in a few days, like just kind of sitting down to paint for fun, so it's a little bit odd for me in the last few weeks. I've been really kind of enjoying just kind of zoning out, brushing up some paint on a mech. Surprisingly relaxing. So the fact that I haven't really had the chance to do one in a few days has been weird. What is going on with my mouse? I'd like to skip this. Thank you. The thing about the clan mechs is they tend to have these weird, like, weirdly tight armpits. Makes it difficult to get the brush in there, but you know, you make do, right? You make do. Yeah, I think that's the way I want to keep that. So we're gonna let this first coat dry a little bit. And while that happens, we're going to go grab our other mech, our Stormcrow, and we're going to start looking at what we want to do with that gentleman. Let me just set you right there. All right, Stormcrow, what are we looking at? What are we feeling? I mean, the funny thing is I could basically do something. He's got such a similar body style to the Nova that I could basically do the same thing. I should probably... There we go. Sorry. Little lighting adjustment there. Try to make sure that things are... Wow, this paint does not want to come out of this brush. Which doesn't really matter because I'm just going to be using the same color in a second anyways, but mildly concerning for future efforts. Alright, just takes a little bit more... effort. So yeah, I think... Do I want to do the same thing? It seems a little bit reductive, but it might actually pan out. No, we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to do... So we're going to do the center torso portion. We're going to do that in purple. We're going to do left arm purple and right leg purple. And then it'll be black, so it'll be a little bit asymmetrical. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So right leg purple, left arm purple, center torso purple. No No committee action necessary. Executive decision. Apply paint. Life is good. You know what I might do? I might also do the left foot in purple. And then the right foot in black. Really kind of emphasize that asymmetry. Let's do that. I hope everybody's been having a good week so far. It's Thursday, we're getting towards the weekend, that's always nice. Personally, I can't complain. Going reasonably well. But nothing really noteworthy, you know? Pretty chill. Which is fine with me. I don't necessarily need to have something happen all the time. That gets to be exhausting. So sometimes it's nice to just wake up, go about your day, go to bed. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier with those weird, like, armpits and elbows that the clan mechs have. They're like weirdly tight spaces. So, real pain in the butt to get the brush in there. There we go, got it. But yeah, let me know how you're doing. Let me know if there's anything you want to chat about. You know, if people have questions about Battletech stuff, I'll do my best to answer. I'm not an authority by any means, but I know a little bit. Had to be a little bit aggressive with that space. Alright, one thin coat down for the Stormcrow. And haven't quite dried yet on the Nova. Just hitting a couple spots where it looks like the paint is pooling a little more than I would like. Alright, I went ahead and put those guys in front of the fan so that they can dry out a little bit quicker. I mean, we're here. We've got the paint. Let's not waste it. So it doesn't dry out. We're going to thin it a little bit more. And we're going to get in there. I think we'll do the summoner next. You know, with him, I think it's going to be in center torso, entirely purple, with a couple black highlights. And then I think the rest of it is going to be black with purple highlights. So... shouldn't have hit the canopy with the purple. I was being a little bit too cavalier about it, but that's okay. That's not something that's like, it's not going to ruin the mech. It's just going to require a little bit of fixing later. Make sure we get underneath the missile launcher so that we don't have any weird spots that are like poking out nice, really bright. The whole back. It's one of the reasons I use this kind of like messy brush for blocking out the main colors, is because sometimes I have to like kind of jam it into little spaces and crevices in order to make sure that it actually fills it in. And I don't want to use a nice like fine detail brush for that. Kind of a waste. So. Okay. The summoner's going to go join the Stormcrow over there in the Dryan chamber. And then we're going to apply another coat of purple to our Nova here. I just spied a cat hair stuck in the paint on this guy's leg, so I'm trying to pick it out. Pardon me a second. Don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but yeah, that's what I had to retrieve. Just a little present for my cats, so that they wanted me to know that they remembered me and they're thinking of me. There we go. All right. Sorry about that little detour, little distraction. Let's grab our Stormcrow, and then we will toss this guy over here. So one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of the people who paint mechs, they do sort of more straightforward paint schemes. Like, they tend to go with, like, camo patterns and stuff like that. And so they're able to hit things a little bit more broadly. They don't have to be quite as precise, which is, that's totally fine. Everybody's got their own style that they like, but it just doesn't appeal to me. I don't really like camo patterns. Maybe it comes from having worn camo for a couple of years. Kind of loses its appeal pretty quickly, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel weird about games that lean too heavily into like replicating modern military stuff. Like I don't play the Battlefield games or Battlefield. I don't know. Something about it feels weird to me, so I just don't do it. But anyways, that was a non sequitur. All for the purpose of... Ooh, I missed that little spot under the hood. All for the purpose of me saying that I try to avoid the camo patterns when possible. Just go for whatever color scheme, whatever pattern seems to make sense for the mech. I didn't really need to thin that, did I? Or to clean that, because I'm just going to be diving back into the purple immediately, but that's okay. Good habit to get into, clean the brush. Not going to hurt anything, right? I will say, I feel like the white primer does paint over a lot more easily than the gray stuff does. So starting light and then, getting darker. Oop, there's another little spot there that I missed. It's also a lot more apparent when you do miss a spot because it's, a very obvious contrast, the white against the purple, whereas with the gray primer, it tends to blend in a little bit more. So I've missed a couple where I'm like, oh crap, there's a gap in the paint in that little area right there. So, you live, you learn. Okay. Oop. All right, how's that looking? It looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. That actually turned out pretty nice. I like that color of purple. I didn't have to do anything for it. I'm gonna just do a little. There we go. couple little spots. I managed to avoid the majority of the paint. Okay. So, let's see. I think I want to do my gray, my dark gray. So, what we're going to do next is we're going to thoroughly clean this out. Don't want any purple left behind if we can avoid it. That's a little bit. There we go. Then we're going to grab some black. I'm going to grab a little bit of white. And we're going to mix. I don't want it to be too much of a gray. Like, I don't want it to be too light a gray. I want it to be very, very dark. So I'm going to mix this up. Based on how it looks, we'll add a little bit more black as needed. But palette knife. There we go. And set aside. Alright, so that did come out a little bit lighter than the original black. You know, it might not be light enough. What the heck, we'll go with it. It's the first one. We'll see how it looks. Gotta water it down, of course. Still a little bit of a purple in there. That's annoying. Okay, yeah, with the water, actually, that kind of grayish tint is coming out a little bit better. Alright, and this one, this is where we want to use a slightly finer brush, because if we go with something that's too broad and too frizzy, then we're just gonna get paint flying, or black paint where we did the purple paint, which is going to be counterproductive. So I'm going to switch over here real quick. We can go over there. Did not grab the right brush. Let's fix that. Hello, hello, Kashura. How are you? Thank you very much for joining. Always nice to see a friendly face. I think I want that guy. And this lovely lady. Okay, there we go. Those ought to work for us. I love you. Are you settled into bed? No, I still on the couch? Excellent. I can think of a couple four-legged friends that are probably very happy about that. So you missed the beginning of the stream. We are painting some clan mechs today. I decided to try out some of the ones that I primed with the white because I was really curious to kind of try that out and see how it goes. I think, like, just from initial efforts, I think I'm a fan. Been totally shunned. Not a single cat. What? Not a single cat? How is that possible? Did you do something to anger them? Oh, I missed that whole little spot on the foot. Okay, well, I'll have to go through and to fix that with the purple, but that's okay. What have you done to anger the felines of the state? I just want you to know that I thought about making a "you hurt their felines" joke, and then I decided not to. So I hope you're proud of me. Wish I knew. Colors seem to pop more. Yeah, agreed. And actually, so I'm using the new paint as well, that new purple paint, and it really comes through nicely. It's pretty good. Let me just mute that so I'm not unintentionally shilling for T-Mobile. Looking good. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm pretty happy with it. So what are you doing while you listen to the stream? Are you watching something? Are you playing Slay the Spire? Are you reading? What's going on your end of things? Yeah, I totally missed this whole section of the ankle right there in white. So really annoyed. I have to go back and hit that with the purple here in a minute, but that's okay. It's fine for now. It's a slight oversight, but not the end of the world. Okay, let's do... You know what? This brush is taking way too long. Watching a true crime thingy, not the usual channel. Oh, okay. Hopefully it's interesting. Not too disturbing. Some of that true crime stuff, man, it gets pretty intense. Like some of the stuff people do. I thought that would be the right brush for this, but maybe this guy. Let me get back to it so I can finish and get to bed. Okay. Well, we'll be here if you feel like chiming in and chatting, but no obligation. In the meantime, enjoy your show and talk to you soon. I generally have nothing but good things to say about this guy's playlists, but this one has a couple spots in it that are a little bit on the weird side. Still a fan, though. Then listen to me while playing Slay the Spire. Awesome. Well, thank you. Always appreciate having someone here to chat with. In the meantime, I am also very happy to just paint. Although here in a second I might have to skip if it doesn't improve a little bit. There we go, that's a little bit more like it. Now, I say that, and it gets super repetitive, so. Okay, I think we're on an upswing. This is okay. Here we go again with the clan mechs and their annoyingly tiny crevices. Just when you think you got them all, you find another one. That's alright though. A little bit of a challenge, I guess. Scavenger hunt, but with your paintbrush. here I'm going to hit the feet with the black again, just to kind of save myself the step of having to do that later, because I will need to do so. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to fix up this ankle real quick, so pardon me a moment. Was this the one we used earlier? Yeah. Steal a little bit of this purple. Just do a little. Alright, that's starting to look pretty good. Happy with the way that's turning out. Stay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set this guy aside. Let's grab our Stormcrow next. Step aside, Summoner. Ooh, you are not the priority here. A little bit more water to clean this out, maybe a little bit more. Make sure that the black paint still has a little bit of longevity in it. And we're going to start applying. There's another spot that I missed. Tell you what, the white, it really is good for that. Like, just highlighting a gap or whatever, like a spot that you overlooked. Like the brush didn't quite hit with the first pass. Very pleased with it. Really careful not to infringe on any of the purple spaces. I think we managed to get away with it. Alright, let's pull up mute that while it's playing the ad. I'm going to go to a different track or a different video. The same guy. I'll post the YouTube link here in a sec. Everybody wants to follow along. Everybody wants. I guess you guys can listen to it here, but I don't know if that'll come through. So let me know if it does or does not, please. That's just to make sure people can follow and everything like that, to give this guy the credit he deserves, because I really like the work he does. Like anyone else, there are a few A few misses for me, but by and large, I really enjoy listening to this stuff when I'm doing any Mech Warrior related work, whether it's writing or what have you. That's gonna be. That's okay. This one. This one's starting off a little bit more chill than the other one. Which I always approve of. Don't need to be getting too worked up, you know? It's not good for the humors. Cheated a little bit there, but that's okay, I think. Super important to do another look after you've put down a layer, a base coat. Gotta catch those Gotta catch those little spots you miss. Oop. Adopted a little bit of paint from that guy. Alright. Summoner next. So when I first started playing Battletech, it was ages ago now. And I was playing, I think it was Mech Warrior 2. Pretty sure it was Mech Warrior 2. I was a teenager when it came out, so sounds about right. Like, young teenager, I think. But, you know, giant robots automatically appealed. And, you know, everything's fine, great. Battletech universe seems cool. Didn't really think much else of it. I seem to remember encountering the summoner in my brief stay in this particular setting back then, and then, you know, kind of fell off my radar for a bit. Went back to it and was like, oh, that's right, Battletech. I remember this stuff, Mech Warrior. That was really cool. And I could not, for the life of me, figure out why everybody was calling the mech one of the mechs that I liked the Thunderbolts, because I was like, no, it's the Thor or the Summoner. Like that's what I remember from the video game. Could not figure it out, and eventually I put two and two together and realized that they are actually completely different mechs. So the Summoner and the Thor are the same mech. Summoner is what the clans call it, and the Thor is what the Inner Sphere calls it. But the Thunderbolt is not the same. It's got a very similar body style, though. Like a number of elements to it are very similar. So I puzzled over that for a long time before I finally actually looked at all the different mechs that were available in the setting and figured out that it was just two different things. So one of the things I like and don't like about the setting is there is a giant robot for everybody, which is awesome, you know. The problem is there are quite possibly too many giant robots. It's hard to keep them all straight. And of course, you eventually run into that phenomenon that every, you know, board game, video game, competitive game has to tackle with, which is power creep. You know, you got someone who's like, oh, well, this mech is such a great mech, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then along comes somebody who's like, well, I went out and bought the newest books. So I know that there's been, in the universe, there's been an update in technology, and so this mech is available with these cool weapons and these advantages. It's like, okay, cool. And then, somebody turns around and does the same thing with the next book that comes out. And, I don't know. There's such a thing as too much, in my opinion. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't bring my glasses. I was wondering why I was, having a harder time seeing this time around. I knew it was going to happen. I predicted it. Here we are. Oh, that's okay. For right now, it's not a big deal. I'm doing pretty broad strokes work, literally, rather than anything super detailed or, precise. Makes this stage nice and easy, if I'm honest. Come on. There's one little dot of white that would not go away, so I had to get a little bit more aggressive with the brushing. This mech, I don't know if you can tell from this angle, has a little, like, it's wearing heels, basically. It's got this big gap underneath its feet. This big arch. So, kind of an interesting design choice. Not that there's anything wrong with heels inherently. Well, actually, I take that back. There is something inherently wrong with heels, and that's that they deform women's feet. Well, I guess not just women. Anybody who wears heels, but primarily women. Deforms your feet. Or they deform your feet, I should say. If I want to be grammatically correct. It is pretty atrocious, actually. Anybody got any interesting plans for the weekend? I personally don't. I'm basically working, but that's okay. Gotta make that bread somehow, you know? Also, I say working like I'm doing something rigorous or important, but I'm really not. It's very frivolous, very low-key stuff. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. The summoner is going to look a lot better once I start putting the purple highlight panels on the arms and the legs and everything like that. But as it is, I'm happy with the basic stuff for the moment. Sorry, I spied a couple little white spots that I want to fill in while I'm here. Gotta get the bottoms of the feet. Okay. Cool. not bad. Okay, so the next step that we've got to do is we've got to hit these guys with a wash. So I want to make sure that the paint on them is actually sufficiently dry before I do that. So I'm going to put them in the old wind tunnel here. I'm going to pump up the fan real quick, just for a moment. Take the opportunity to hydrate, super important. And then let's grab our wash. Is that? Yep. Oh wait, nope, that's the wrong one. Oh, that's the one. I left these other brushes out and realized I'm actually not going to be using those. So let's set those aside. Once we're done with the wash, we're going to dry brush. We're going to test out a couple of these new makeup brushes that I got for this purpose. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to... don't know which one I'm going to use first. I'll probably try... well... probably try the smaller one, because I'm going to be dry brushing specific spots, and I don't necessarily want to mix colors just yet, so I'll probably try that. Oh, I just realized this actually switched over to a different channel. This is Enter Dystopia Records. I'm going to subscribe to these guys because this is good. I like this music. Okay, let's finish cleaning this brush out. So this new paint that I got definitely is tougher to clean out of the brush than the D&D branded paints that I've been working with so far. It's not like, it's not the end of the world or anything. It's just, it's noticeable. It's the kind of thing that could very easily mess something up if you've used a dark color and then you're moving to use a lighter color, but they're still dark in the brush. It could muddy the light color that you're going for. So, you know, it's just something to be aware of. Okay. I just noticed a couple of spots. It didn't get hit by the brush the first time around, so. More than a couple of spots. Okay, not the end of the world, but you know, if I catch them, I want to fix them. Apparently I'm in a bit of a quiet mood tonight. Hopefully nobody minds. I don't mind chatting. Feel free to hit me up if you got something you want to talk about, but kind of just trying to vibe, you know? Oh, got a little run in your makeup there, buddy. Clan elbows and armpits. Always. Always being tricky. All right. Toss him back up in the wind tunnel to dry him out. Grab our Stormcrow. See how we're doing. I don't see any gaps on first inspection. Oh, there's a little one. There we go. Couple little ones on the feet. I guess it was technically the ankle, but still. Otherwise, I think we were pretty good about covering our bases on him. Okay. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. We're gonna put him back in the wind tunnel as well, just for a second. And we're gonna hit these guys with a wash. Let's see, where's my washing brush? There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. That's the one we want. Went and saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie this past Sunday. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Wouldn't say it's like my favorite movie ever, but I enjoyed it. I think it was a relatively faithful representation of the brand and the general D&D experience. Although my wife reminded me that she does not like Chris Pratt, which I'd forgotten, if I'm honest. Or not Chris Pratt, Chris Pine. Chris Pine. She doesn't like Chris Pratt either, but that's understandable. Not liking Chris Pine kind of threw me off. Oh, there's a little... back in the wind tunnel. The reason I'm being so careful about making sure everything is dry before I apply the wash is because I've noticed in the past that if I don't do that, then what ends up happening is the what ends up happening is that as I'm applying the wash, sometimes it'll re-moisten the paint and the brush will start like pulling away the layer of paint that's been set down. So I want to make sure it's as dry as possible before I move on to that stage, just to avoid that. Alright, so now let's hit this with the wash. Let's get the cat hair out of there. Okay. Now I'm wondering if for a mech like this, or a color scheme like this, I shouldn't be using a light wash versus a dark wash, but I don't have a light wash, so here we are. We're gonna work with what we've got. Work with what's available to us. Make sure you get up into all the little nooks and crannies. I'll make sure that we highlight as much of the detail as we can while doing this. Okay. Gotta get this arm. Once we're done with this, we're gonna dry brush. That should be kind of fun actually, because it'll be good to see. It'll be good to see some of the details and the highlights pop out. Alright, that's the wash applied. Cat hair is compulsory. I'm back, but not for long. I'm more tired than I realize. That's okay. Thanks very much for popping back in. I appreciate it. Was the true crime thing satisfactory? I don't know why I dried that out or washed that out, because I'm just going to be putting it back on for the Stormcrow. This guy's got a little bit more purple. That might just be on account of the fact that he's a little bit bigger. So we're going to apply the wash, and we probably will see a little bit more of an effect on this one than we did the Nova. Yes, in both cases the perp was caught. Excellent. That is what we want to know. Murder ain't good. If there's one takeaway from tonight's stream, let it be that. Murder ain't good. Some of the wash that's pooling in areas where I don't want it to pool. I don't want it to be too dark there. Okay. Tripping all over myself. And I'm not the only one, apparently. So our friend the Summoner here is kind of interesting, because he has this really deep groove under the backside of the missile rack here, that's empty space. So the wash just wants to get right in there and settle, which might look good. It might look a little heavy-handed. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Well, I guess we'll find out momentarily. I had to bring Ollie into the bedroom. Oh, okay. Poor guy. Well, just let me know if there's anything you need me to bring up with me when I come up. I will be happy to do so. Okay, this one's slightly different vibe than what we've had so far, but I don't dislike it. Just me? Okay. That I can do. No problem. Done and done. Alright. Wind tunnel, let's turn you so we can get the other side. Turn you so we can get over to the other side. Hello, friend! How are you today, Lemon Drop? Well, how are you tonight, I should say. Ooh, if this music doesn't change soon, I'm going to have to skip that. That is really annoyingly repetitive. Ah, there we go. Skip. Skip! Oh, by the way, so I decided to try a different color scheme with the clan mechs. And so I did this guy, who is... Is that going to make it easier or harder to make out the colors? A little bit easier. But basically, I was going for purple silver. It turned out being a little bit more gray than purple, I think. Or gray than silver, but that's okay. And the purple turned to be more of a like lavender, like almost a pastel, which at first I wasn't happy with, but now that I've come back to look at it, it's actually not bad. It's kind of grown on me. So I'm gonna have to do a whole 4 more in that color scheme. But in the meantime, I've decided to reattempt the color scheme I was originally going for with a couple slight variations. So, you can see the difference here in... actually, can you see the difference there? You might not be able to see the difference in purple because this one's coming out really dark. But I gotta figure out the lighting situation in here. I've never been very good at that kind of thing. But yeah, this is a much deeper purple, kind of a royal purple type color. So it is. Let me get some of this wash out of there, out of that crevice. It's a little bit too heavy for me. There we go. So yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of Decepticon purple, which I guess is appropriate for giant robots. But yeah, kind of waiting for those washes to dry before I can move on to the next step, which is, of course, dry brushing. So we're gonna use. Oops, let's not knock the paint over. We're going to use this bad boy right here for the dry brush. So I just need this wash to finish drying because you can't really do a dry brush if you're dry brushing over wet things because then it becomes a wet brush. That's not the point. So I wonder if I should do the bases while I'm here. No, because there's a possibility I get more paint on it, so I always do leave the bases till last. You like the purple? Awesome. Thank you, Lemon Drop. Appreciate that. Huh. Just wicking away some of the wash on the Storm Crow so that it doesn't pool anywhere too heavily. There we I should probably just be leaving the washes alone and letting them do what they're going to do, but for some reason I just can't do it. Like I always worry that it's gonna change the color too much or make it look too dirty or ugly or whatever. So that's one thing I struggle with. I guess that ties into patience, which has not traditionally been my strongest point, but that's something we're trying to work on here. All right, come here, Nova. Let's... Is that mostly dry? Yeah, that's dry. We'll call it dry. Ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so now that we've got the base layers down and we've got the wash in, what we're going to do next is dry brush. I'm basically going to take some of that original purple. I'm just going to do like very light brush strokes over it to kind of bring out a little bit of a highlight. And then after that, we're going to do a lighter purple to kind of make it look just a little bit worn and really make those details and those highlights pop. So that's the plan. I might need a little bit more water in that purple to thin it out a bit. I'm trying to follow my friend Samson's instructions on this because he said that when you dry brush, your paint should be pretty thin. And then you want very, very, very little paint in the brush itself. But to date, I've found that thicker paint, not watered down, works pretty well for dry brushing for my purposes. So I'm wondering if I'm just like, maybe I could be getting a better results. Maybe this is a fluke. I don't know. So I'm going to try it his way. I had a wash on the floor I'm currently painting. Take all day to dry. Oof, that is, yeah, a test of patience indeed. See, this is why I don't like the thinning paint. I feel like it doesn't... Oh. Doesn't matter. We're going to go with it. If we decide we're not a fan of it now, then we can always change the process later. Not the end of the world. Actually, I will say that kind of helped the purple pop a little bit more, so that's nice. Dry brush with thick paint, but a very lightly loaded brush. Watered down paints. Yeah, see, that was kind of my thought too. And like I said, I was getting good results with the thicker paint, so I'm a little bit hesitant to lean into the really watered down paints for dry brushing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just... That might just be me, like, having found a system and being afraid to, move away from it. That's definitely possible. I mean, I haven't been painting long enough to really say that I'm, like, set in my ways or anything like that, but... It's definitely a thing that can happen. When people decide that they don't want to branch out or try something new. Found a little spot there that had escaped the paint previously, so I just filled it in real quick with the dry brush. Probably not the way I should have done it, but I made it work. I will say that the white prime layer definitely is less forgiving on if you miss a spot. And I know I said this a little bit earlier in the stream, but now that we're closer to a finished mech, those little tiny like spots of white show up way more distinctly than the gray primer. So it really requires you to do a thorough review of the mini to make sure you haven't missed anything, because all right. I think it depends on your style and the look you're going for. Yeah. Is there a fan? Oh yes. Sorry. That is my drying fan. So I turn that on when I want my minis to dry just a little bit faster while I'm working on them. I just forgot to turn it off. So thinner paint is better for heavier coverage when dry brushing, but thicker paint is really nice for that light passive highlight. Okay, yeah. See? So I was my instincts were basically right there. Also, thank you, Kashra, for bringing my attention to the fan. Yeah, this is where we're gonna get into. This is where we're gonna get into a couple of other dry brush efforts. So I want to do a light gray over the black parts, and then I want to do a lighter purple over the purple parts. So we're gonna start with the gray on the black areas. Afraid this is it for me tonight. Morpheus calls and I must answer. Have a great night. Thank you, Kashra. Sleep tight. I love you very much. I will be up to cuddle you soon. Ah, see? Another little rogue white spot. That's right, I found you. I found you. You thought you were going to get away, but I found you. All right, well, I love you too. Have good dreams, sleep tight, and I will see you in the morning. Okay, yeah, I have to agree with the dry brushing using the makeup brush. That worked a treat. I'm very happy with that. Is that the purple that I want? Yeah, it's the deeper colored purple. So, all right. I don't know. I'm suddenly having second thoughts on this. I'm feeling a little bit unhappy with that color. Sorry, I'm digging through my new paints to find if I have a better shade of purple for what I'm trying to do here. Oh wait, here we go. That's more of a neon purple. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, I was looking in the wrong section. I should have noticed when I picked up brown that it was not the section I was looking for. Let's go there, that goes there, that goes there. Okay. That's a blue. That goes back in here. All right, let's see if this... it's kind of a neon purple, apparently. So let's see what this looks like in comparison to the other one. The other one's a little bit too... yeah. That's what I want. The other one's a little bit too muted. It's a little bit too pastel. There's... I don't know if there's more gray to it. That's what it feels like, is that there's too much gray in it. But it wasn't going to give me the effect I'm going for. This purple, on the other hand, I think is going to be perfect. Purple and perfect. Smushed together, perfect. No? Thank you, Lemon Drop, for the pity laugh. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. It's interesting because this purple is definitely brighter than the one we used originally, but it doesn't really seem to be showing up on against the darker purple, which is kind of weird. I would have expected that to pop through just a little bit more. It'll be a little bit heavier on the dry brush, I guess, to make that happen. Like, I know it can be tough to get lighter colors to show up, but I don't think that's making a dang bit of difference. All right, well, let's try the lighter purple. This may turn out not the way I want, but, well, nope, that lighter purple is the one I want, apparently. Yeah, it's actually bringing out the darker purple a lot better than the neon. I guess you just, don't judge a book by its cover, right? See, now that's a little bit too dark. But I don't mind it in that spot. It looks like just kind of... looks like wear. One thing I've learned with these guys is you want to, when you first get your paint in your dry brush, you want to make sure that you hit an area that it makes sense would be more worn, because it's the paint is going to go on just a little bit heavier with those first couple hits, and so you can make it look more intentional as a result. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, next thing I need to do is I need to hit some of the detail points. I had said we were going to do a general white, like, dry brush with a really light color, but that's not just yet. I have to paint the canopy. I have to put the lasers in, the laser points in, and then I need to... Oh, I keep forgetting to grab toothpicks. I talk about it every time, and then I keep forgetting to grab it. And then a couple of panels I want to add a little bit more detail to, or like the accent color too. So, got a couple things to hit before we're done, but should be nice and easy. Nothing too high stress. Lemon Drop, I'm sure I asked you already, but just in case I didn't, how was your day? There we go. And everyone else, how was your day too? Not just Lemon Drop. I'm interested in hearing how everybody's doing. I kind of like this playlist. It switches from being a little bit more intense to being a little bit more chill. Kind of throughout. It's kind of nice. Long and frustrating, but overall productive. Been a hectic week. Have to go to tech all weekend, so I don't get a true day off this week. Ugh, what is tech? Is that like tech rehearsal, basically? I'm sorry to hear you don't get a day off this week. That's not fun at all. Hopefully, you will be coming up on a bit of a break here soon. Yep, tech rehearsal. Just to be there for a couple hours each day, not the entirety. Yeah, you can't really plan anything, you know, like. And sometimes, depending on the workplace and your coworkers, even a couple hours at work can be draining. Enough to make anybody just be like, you know what, forget this. I'm going to go home, I'm going to put on some pajamas, and I'm going to watch TV. And there is nothing wrong with that. Sorry, I'm just doing a couple little... The whim struck me to hit a couple little panels with some black to make them a little bit more visually interesting. It's nothing major, but yeah. I think that works. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Exactly, going to be stressing all day. About 2 hours I have to be there, hoping to get some packing done on Saturday, though. Okay. So, getting some packing done, does that mean that you are going to be jetting off from your current location to another location? Like, when the show is done, I assume? Alright, now we've got to do the little finicky bits. Luckily, the Nova's fairly easy in that its weaponry is all medium lasers, so I can use the same color green for all of them. I don't have to get fancy with that. But then I also have to do the cockpit or the canopy. So that's a slightly different color still. Is that the one I want to use for the... No. Sorry, folks. Just adjusting things a little bit to see if I can make use of this fancy little thing that my wife picked up for me. Oh, sorry. I totally decided to just blind the audience there. Yeah, that went not too bad. My hand's just not quite steady enough to really make proper use of it. Oh well, not going to worry too much about that. I'll have to go back in and hit that with another layer here in a moment so that it dries suitably uniform. Done here at the end of the month, moving to Mr. Swetch and I's new place and immediately hopping on a flight to Utah. Ugh, that sounds rough. But that's right, the new place. Is Mr. Swetch there already? Has Mr. Swetch settled? I'm gonna try it again. Thing is, this is kind of a dumb thing to say, but have a hard time telling how far away the brush is from the Mini with this. Like, right there, see? I'm trying to do these minuscule little careful movements, and I end up messing it up. Okay. Oh well. Should probably... This is one of those moments where it's like, well, maybe you should be wearing your glasses then, huh, smart guy? Do you think that might help? Maybe the things that help you see will help you see better? Still not convinced on this. Starts driving tomorrow and get to the new place Saturday. Oh, wow, okay. You know what I am going to do? I am going to pump up the wattage here. That music got unexpectedly intense. I think we may have accessed a boss fight, folks. So if he's driving from your old place to your new place, that's a hell of a drive. Yeah, I like that. You know what? I don't know why I didn't think about placing the mech on flat on its back before. It seems obvious in retrospect. Work smarter, not harder, right? You know what? I don't think I do need to go back over that canopy. I think it's fine the way it is. Is it perfect? No, but it's pretty good, and I'm probably not going to get any better without messing up the struts and covering those up. Stopping in Ohio tomorrow night and then back on the road at like 3 a.m. Oof. As long as he's getting enough sleep between stints, like that's super important. So we've kind of turned this mech into the Joker mech. He's got the purple and green thing going on. Like those green medium lasers are like they are highlighted really well against the dark color of the dark like purple and the black. So I'm not mad about it though. I actually kind of like it. Yeah. Okay, so a couple things we need to do. Well, hold on, let me grab. Yeah, we're gonna need some of this. The bigger tube of black paint for the grunt work. There's a reason those colors work. Yeah, exactly. I need some of this. So can you tell Lemon Drop? Can you tell me what shows the show you're working on now and the show you're going to be going to Utah to work on? I don't know if you're like allowed to talk about that stuff or not. I know some places or some industries have pretty strict like you have to keep this quiet until we say you can talk about it type policies. So. All right, here we go with. I realize I asked Lemon Drop a question and then immediately got overly focused on what I was doing. I will be right back. This company is very lax. Contracted this theater until the 28th. Three Little Birds. Bob Marley musical. Okay, interesting. Any Gracious Sisters. Interesting. I don't think I've heard of either of those. Not that that's very surprising for me, to be honest. I'm not a big, like, theater buff. So, I guess some people might say I'm not very cultured. Yeah, I think this guy turned out looking pretty good. Come on. There we go. Thank you. Utah Shakes. I'm in charge of Midsummer and Romeo and Juliet. Replace West Side Story because of some infrastructure issues. Oh, interesting. Obviously, I've heard of those plays. Obviously. Although I gotta be honest, I never really did understand the whole appeal of Romeo and Juliet. It's kind of a I don't know. I don't know. Just seemed weird to me as a teenager. Like, what's the big deal, you know? I like a lot of Shakespeare's other stuff, but that one in particular just didn't really sit with me. I mean, the best character dies like right in the beginning of the play, so Mercutio is awesome. I think it's Mercutio that dies right at the beginning of the play. Maybe I'm just remembering the wrong name. Entirely possible. Haven't seen it in a while. Can't stand Romeo and Juliet. They missed the point. It's not a romance, but the set design is nice. Okay, yeah, I bet that's true. But yeah, it is not a romance. It's a tragedy. Like, it's a farce. There we go. Trying to open that without squeezing at the same time and shooting paint everywhere. That's the one I want. Hello to everybody who's just joined. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in and seeing what we're all about. Very laid back and relaxed here, so feel free to chat or lurk as you please. My name's Ben. I'm just chilling and painting. Man, I am telling you, people on Twitch are odd. They pop into chat, or they pop into the channel, and if you acknowledge that someone new has come to the channel, they bolt. Like rabbits, you just scare them off. So we briefly went up to like 8 viewers there, and then I said hi to everybody, and then we dropped back down to 4, like instantly. You'd think I would have learned not to do that, but we're going 2 hours 20 minutes. Okay. Oh, hey, Drago Bancho. Drago Bancho. Sorry, missed the N in there. How are you tonight? Thank you very much for following. That's awesome. Much appreciated. Sorry, I was not paying attention to that particular panel, so I missed it earlier when you actually followed. Apologies for that. Drago Bancho, are you a Battletech fan? Is that what drew you to the channel? No problem. Awesome. Well, thank you for understanding. All right. Started gathering supplies. Oh yeah, for painting or just for playing the game? Because they're technically two different things. Oh no! Disaster! Disaster! Red alert! Boop 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 boop. That's annoying. Mech accidentally took a tumble into a different colored paint. So, well, that's aggravating. All right, well. We're going to go over there. I am going to turn the fan back on to help dry that guy a little bit more. Yeah, I've only just recently started painting. I've been doing it for about a little over a month at this point, I think. So, you know, I'm not an old hand by any means. Definitely have some stuff that I need to work on to improve. But I've been enjoying it. So, you know, that much at least is good. Yeah, we are ready for the dry brushing on this guy. Sounds right? Yeah, okay. I thought it was about that. Oh, you know what I didn't do on this one? I haven't done the accent panels yet. I'm dry brushing a little bit prematurely. It's not the end of the world because I'm not going to be doing the accent color on all the opposing colors. So if I stick with the dry brush and add that in while I'm thinking about it, it's not too bad. It's an order of operations error, but otherwise salvageable. Could be worse. Some sleep. Have a long day tomorrow. Good night. Good night. Thank you very much for popping in and chatting for a bit, Lemon Drop. I appreciate it. I hope that tomorrow goes well. It's not too tiring. I will keep my fingers crossed for you. There we go. So, Drago, are you gathering supplies to play the game or to paint minis? Or both? I guess both is most likely the answer, but, I mean, maybe you've got a specific focus at this point in time. I know a lot of people who paint more than they play. Well, I say I know a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people in the various Battletech groups online, like on Facebook and such, who they paint more than they play. And I know some other people who don't paint at all, they just play. So everybody's got a different different opinion on things. Purchased a few things. Alpha Strike box set. Okay, nice. Beginner box, second ed. Ooh, a second ed beginner box. Is that the one that has the Vindicator in it? think the first edition is the one that had the Griffin in it, if I remember correctly. Alpha Strike Commander's Edition. Okay. Army Painter Starter Brush. Nice. Okay. Crashes in after. Hi, everybody. Gotcha. Hi, Stolen Fires. How are you? Thanks very much for popping in and saying hi. What was for dinner? Full of delicious homemade doner kebab. Ooh, that does sound tasty. Games Workshop hobby knife. Okay. So are you modding your mechs as well as painting them? Because that's ambitious. I'm not brave enough to try modding my mechs just yet. Anyways, so that premature dry brushing notwithstanding, we're going to set this guy over here. We're going to pick up our friendly neighborhood Nova. Excuse me, a little bit of a hiccup there. So we're going to go over the base again to make sure it's properly uniform. AK Interactive Snow Terrain? What? Okay, okay. I am going to have to look that up. That sounds awesome. Green Stuff World. Okay. Hobby Knife is just a scrape off the flash. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Have you been a fan of Battletech for a while, or did you just discover it? Snow Train is a paste. Oh, I see, okay. Still sounds pretty cool, though. Okay, music, you're getting a little bit repetitive. I might have to skip this bit. Yeah. Skip. Played MechWarrior 3 when I was same. I think might have been MechWarrior 2, maybe it was MechWarrior 3, I don't remember. But yeah, when I was a teenager, I found it and was like, big robots, cool. And I was kind of like passingly aware of it and interested since then. But just recently, I've like jumped right back into it. So I also have the Alpha Strike, like Commander's Edition, the box set, beginner box, the Clan Invasion box, a bunch of force packs. I've got like, considering the fact that pardon me, sorry. Considering the fact that I really just got back into it recently, I have probably too many mechs. I think I've got like 60 or 70. Only like 20 of which are painted. So, you know, I'm making progress, but it's slow going. Okay, what am I doing? Do you have a favorite mech so far? Mech or faction, I guess. You know, maybe sometimes asking for favorite mech is too granular. Out, damn spot. There we go. Injecting a little culture into the stream. A little Macbeth reference. Atlas, if you want to talk Inner Sphere. Atlas is a classic. It's a nasty machine. I only have 2 Atlases in my collection, and I don't plan on getting any more, but they are both painted. Whoops. Make sure those are actually on. Yeah, they are both painted, so. So that's talking Inner Sphere. What about on the clan side? You got a favorite there? I think this might call for. I'm really torn on a favorite mech. My favorite mech is ever evolving. If I had to pick one like specific, it's definitely going to be the Black Knight. I just have a soft spot for it. It's such a good mech. But I love the Thunderbolt. I love the Orion, the Battlemaster, the Stalker. I just actually got a Stalker mini earlier. He's in the jumble somewhere. Kodiak, fan of Clan Ghost Bear and everything Rasselhug related, which is why I despise the Dominion's Divided Source book. Interesting. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Rasselhug Republic as well. Or like that whole kind of segment of the universe. Unfortunately, my familiarity with it kind of ends at like the clan invasion. I haven't kept up with a lot of the more recent stuff. I really like the Succession Wars clan invasion kind of saga. I feel like it's a really good encapsulation of Battletech without getting into the really weird stuff that happens in the Jihad and Dark Ages and everything past that. But yeah. I'm a fan of Clan Snow Raven. They seem like pretty cool guys. But Ghost Bear is also cool. Sorry. Hopefully I didn't blind anybody there. I was just assessing something and the light was washing it out. Fan of the Kodiak. I also just got a Kodiak mini. I have not primed that one yet. It's still in the other room, waiting its turn in line. So it'll get its time eventually. But FR got to reduce to a handful of worlds because of the clan invasion. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought happened. So what about the Dominion's Divided book are you do you object to? Like, what is that where the Rasselhug Republic kind of gets carved up? Oh, something else that I did that I don't know that I necessarily mentioned. So, like I said, I painted a few of my clan mechs. So these are the color schemes I went with. But another thing I did with all my mechs was I put a metal washer in them. There's a specific size washer that fits perfectly in the base, basically. And then I just put some Mod Podge in there to seal it in. That way, it's nice and heavy. It's harder to tip over. If you've got anything that's like magnetized or whatever, you can stick it to magnets. Cheap and easy. I mean, I just went to Lowe's and I bought a box of 5/16 metal washers. I got 100 of them, so more than enough for the mechs that I've got. You know, slap them in, seal them, let them dry, and it really makes a difference in the feel of the Mini. So, just a little, I don't know, little tip in case anybody's interested in doing that. Clan Ghost Bear changed from Crusader to Warden and played nice with the inner sphere worlds they occupied. Formed the Ghost Bear Dominion, then the Ghost Bear Dominion offered their hand to the Rosselhog remnants and formed with the Rosselhog Dominion. Interesting. Okay. So that was all in Dominions Divided? I should have put it back in the base because it chipped off a couple spots of paint. Or not in the base. I shouldn't have put it back in the cradle. Whatever the hell that thing's called. I put it in too early, and as a result, that's alright, that's an easy fix, so I'm not going to complain about that. Is that side wet? Alright, well, whatever. Cool. Dominion Divided Sourcebook deals with the new Wolf Empire and third iteration of the Stars of the Star Lake. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna have to check that book out because that sounds like that's a good point to kind of be getting back into the more recent stuff. Because I know the current year in lore is like 3151 or something like that. Okay, this like got super frenetic. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. Hopefully. There we go. Hopefully that's better. Dominion's by Rosselhog Dominion Civil War that was badly written. Oh, I see. In the Ill Clan era. Okay, that I do remember that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. It's funny. This is one of those universes where the fact that it keeps kind of advancing and we keep, jumping into new eras and things like that. Like, I kind of get why they do it, because obviously they've got to come out with new material, source books, new mechs, new technology, whatever, to keep the game fresh and things like that. But it gets difficult to kind of keep up with after a while. You just kind of like, at least I kind of just pick an era, pick a section of the history, and I'm like, that's my sweet spot. That's my favorite. But I should still catch up on this stuff because it's just good to know. All right, you are looking pretty good there, bucko. So, let's go ahead and secure that washer. We'll let him dry, and then that'll be... I'll wash her down. I'll grab it in a minute. Recommend watching Big Red 40K's review on Dominions Divided. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Where is my Mod Podge? There she is. Come here. heard a few people talk about Big Red 40K. I'd never heard of him before. I'm a Tex Talks Battletech fan. Actually, I think his videos might have been what kind of renewed my interest a little while back, and I was watching a lot of his lore videos, and then playing MechWarrior 5 and the Battletech the Battletech strategy game. So those were all things that kind of like drew me back into the universe in general. And then I just happened to be in a Barnes and Noble and saw a bunch of the box sets, like the beginner box, the Alpha Strike, beginner box, a Game of Armored Combat, and the Clan Invasion box, plus 2 or 3 force packs that were all on sale for like a stupid low price. So I just snatched them all up. Big Red is due for a name change. Oh yeah, because of the 40K piece. I like Tex, but he doesn't release videos. No, yeah, they put so much effort and work into those videos that, it makes sense why there's a delay between their stuff, but it is a little bit, it's a little bit torturous to wait that long. So, but yeah, I agree. You're just going to stay back here and do a headstand, and we'll just call that good. There you go. You know what? I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to put the washers in these other guys real quick. It's one thing I can do while I'm waiting for the first guy to dry is at least slap these in there. And I'll be totally upfront, I am not up to speed with Warhammer. I was never really into it. I don't know anything about the lore. I don't know anything about what's going on in the community. I just know there's been a hue and cry about some stuff, so. Watch Big Red in the meantime. Okay, yeah, it's always good to have a backup for that kind of thing. So that when you're, your main content creators are between releases, you can still be finding stuff. That guy does a really good headstand. 40K, 2 of the Loyalist Primarchs are back. I don't know what that means. Are they just like rehashing old story stuff? Or is it something else? Oh, yeah, see, there's so many little spots that I missed on this summoner. So, I do like the white priming. I feel like it offers a lot of benefit, but it's also, it's got its drawbacks, so just got to learn. Sorry, I got a little focused hunting down these little white spots that I missed on the paint job with this dude. I'll be right back with you. Products for the direct genetic spawn of the Emperor, also where the Space Marines get their gene. Oh, okay, gotcha. So I'm guessing they're coming back and there's like a power struggle, basically, within the Empire. Do not get that on the... Yeah, that would be inconvenient, to say the least. Okay, so let's pod you up. Oh, okay. Like I said, I never really got into Warhammer, so this stuff is completely new to me. I know there's... I actually tend to get... Oh, dang it, I still needed some of that. I tend to get the names of the factions and races in Warhammer mixed up with the ones from StarCraft. Like, the Protoss are from Warhammer, right? Zerg from StarCraft? I know I sound like a super dork by asking that question, but it's complicated. Yeah, I can imagine. The 40k universe seems like one that would get kind of complicated in the narrative. So, you know what? I turned the mech upside down and I found another little gap in the paint. So, what is going on? Why are you... Oh, end of the video. So it played ads. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Okay. This is Solaris mix. I like this one a lot. Protoss and Zerg, StarCraft, Eldar and Tyranids, Warhammer. Okay, there you go. See, I told... I always get them confused. The Eldar and the Protoss, in particular. Okay, so we're gonna... Come on. Put this guy away. So these guys are probably not going to finish drying until tomorrow. Ooh, you know, that did not turn out as light as or as bright as I was hoping it would. I'm going to have to... It's unfortunate, but not much to do about it. Okay. So the Nova is basically done. The only thing I have left to do with that is I've got to hit it with the varnish. I could seal it with the Mod Podge like I did on the Ice Ferret, but I feel like that resulted in too flat of a finish for what I want. I think I want this unit to be a little bit shinier. So I'm going to hit that with the Army Painter gloss varnish that I have. But the Mod Podge in the base won't dry until tomorrow morning, so I'll leave that to do that. I'll hit it with the varnish tomorrow. I'll probably finish up the other two mechs tomorrow as well, because they're primarily painted. Like most of the grunt work is done there. I just have to go in and do the detail stuff. So hopefully by the end of this weekend, at the latest, I'll have, if not just those 3 mechs done, I'll have a whole star done. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. Protoss just feel like an advanced alien race. Eldar are space elves that accidentally spawned a chaos god. Interesting. Alright, yeah, as elves are prone to do. Stolen Fires, I'm going to plant strawberries tomorrow. Ooh, strawberries. We've got a decent backyard back here at our new place in New York. We just we haven't quite figured out what we want to do with it yet. We like having it. We want to do stuff with it. We just have to kind of figure out what that is and then how to do it. It's a process. So, but yeah. Strawberries. I do like strawberries. The idea of having like my own homegrown strawberries does sound kind of nice. Gonna have to look into that. We definitely want to do a little garden. Like I said, we've got a big enough backyard. We can do one. We just have to figure out exactly where we want to put it and everything like that. So, have a patch in a community garden. How I'm going to grow things. Oh, that's cool. Your lettuce sprouted. Ooh, very cool. That's one of those things that, never having really done, any gardening myself, I don't fully understand, like, the excitement people have when something sprouts, but I get that it is an achievement because it means that the seed has taken root and it's on its way. But yeah, I'm very happy for you. I'm not trying to say, like, oh, that's awesome. I've never experienced that personally. Nice feeling you helped something grow. I mean, I've helped stuff grow. Sorry, I'm sure that's not what you meant, but you will eventually get to eat it. Yes, that is true. Especially, well, I don't know. Are you able to get like seeds for like garden vegetables that aren't basically the same strains as what you get in the grocery stores? Because a lot of times what I get in the grocery stores just ends up not being very good. Like it's not very fresh, or like it doesn't have like that distinctive flavor that the vegetable should have. It's very, or berries in particular are prone to this, and it's like fine, but it doesn't have that like small farm like really fresh flavor to it. So growing San Marzano tomatoes you only really find in jars and cans in the U.S. Or once they sprout. Are your tomatoes being difficult? Okay. So, talking a little bit about Battletech minis. Why is this hair? Is that? Oh, that's not stuck to the mini. Okay. Speaking of Battletech minis and such, the next ones that I've got to do. So for this star, the royal purple and black, I've got. That should be more. Yeah, right there. Showtime Demon. Hey, Demon, how's it going? How are you? Stares at tiny pots on the patio. Rain and cold has lasted unseasonably late, so the seedlings are slow. My corn and beans are growing at least. Okay, well, corn and beans, I mean, that's a good start. Tomatoes, I love tomatoes, so I will keep my fingers crossed and wish you luck with those. I'm sure they'll come through just fine. But yeah, so the next couple mechs that I've got to paint for my Royal Purple Lance are the Marauder 2C and the Timberwolf. Two of my favorite mechs, if I'm honest. I love the whole Marauder line in Battletech, and the Timberwolf is just a classic. So I'm looking forward to painting those. Those are both primed in the white. I have 4 more clan mechs that are all primed in the gray. And so I've got to go through and I've got to paint those. Some of you who are familiar with the minis might recognize my Vulture is really wonky because I dropped him and broke him. I had to glue him back together and it didn't set quite right. So he's kind of like tilted and like shooting at 2 different targets, but it'll just make him unique. But yeah, so I've got to paint those up, and then I've got a bunch more. I've got to finish. So I've got to finish the Royal Purple Star. I've got to finish the star for this guy because I've only got one of him. And I need to figure out who's going to be in that star. It was originally going to be these 4, but I don't know that I want to do that anymore. I've got a whole bunch of other mechs that I want to mix and match. So I got to sit down and figure out like what my force, like what the formation is going to be, what the, what the build, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, going well. How are you? Had to drop one of my games due to toxic players. Won't get into your streams. It's a bummer, but other than that, I'm pretty good. Oh, that is unfortunate. Those are my missile mechs on the game. He's just tilted from all that firepower going off. Yeah, exactly. It's the recoil. But yeah, the Direwolf, or sorry, not the Direwolf, the Vulture / Mad Dog, the 2 names for that one. But yeah, it's a good mech. It's no Mad Cat, aka Timberwolf, but it's fine. No, I'm kidding. It's a good mech. So I'm sorry to hear about your toxic players. That stinks. That's never fun. Yeah, feel free to shoot me a message with a little bit more detail if you want to talk about it, because I've definitely been there. I know what that's like. But yeah, I think that's about it for tonight. I decided to go a little bit simpler with this color scheme. I just did 2 colors, just the black and the deep purple. And as a result, I finished 1 mech in a 3-hour stream, and I've got 2 other mechs well on their way to being finished. So that's more progress than I usually make doing one of these. Usually I get 1 mech mostly done, and then I finish it up the next day. So, a little bit of progress, that's cool. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. DMing about the toxic is horrible, but I'm not letting it get me down. Black and Purple is classic. Yeah, I'm a fan. I mentioned earlier that this guy here, he's kind of pulling off Joker vibes because he's got the purple and he's got the bright green on the lasers. So it, has a slight hint of that, but that's okay. Well, that's good. Don't let it get you down. It definitely is going to happen. I've had groups that were not pleasant to play with, and my buddy Eric told me years ago. This is like 15 years ago. 14-ish years ago at this point. He told me no game is better than bad game. When we were kind of hit a slump in like good RPGs that we were in, and I've always remembered that. It's like if you're not having fun with the game, if you're not having fun with the group, whether you're the DM or a player, don't keep investing energy into it. It's better to just kind of step back and find a different avenue. That mech kills stuff and screams, why so serious? Yeah, exactly. I mean, it does have 12 medium lasers, so its whole purpose is to run forward and melt something. I actually like the Nova a lot in theory, on paper. I haven't actually gotten into playing a Nova yet in the tabletop game, but I'm working towards it. So, actually, no, I guess I take that back. I've actually been playtesting Catalyst Game Labs, their Aces rules, which is basically for you to play solo against like an AI for the game, and that has been interesting. It's been fun. I've only run through one full kind of intro scenario, and I've kind of poked around it at doing it again. But I like the idea behind it. I feel like the cards worked pretty well. The AI won in the first run through that I did. I had to game it a little bit to like make the AI do something smart, but it was technically within the rules, so I'm gonna call it good. But yeah, they won just barely. Just barely came down to like one last shot between my Locust and the Pouncer, but the Pouncer hit and the Locust didn't. So it was a victory for the clans. Small game. Some of my regulars wanted to join. Willingly subject them to a game that was horrible and filled with disrespect. Yeah, exactly. Sounds super cool. It is pretty cool. I like it. I have gone all in. I picked up a bunch of Heroescape terrain. Heroescape was like this modular board game that came out years ago, easily probably almost 20 years ago now. It's a bunch of little plastic tile hexes in different colors and kind of themes that interlock together, and you can build landscapes and stuff out of them. It was not made for Battletech, but it was like made for Battletech, spiritually at least, because it's like the perfect type of terrain for, creating hills and ridges and canyons and things like that. So I just kind of got all that collected together. I'm going to be putting it up out on the table probably early next week to try it out. So I'm looking forward to it. Heroescape used some of that for 40k games. Yeah, it's great terrain. The fact that the tiles all interlock means that you can have just one or two sets of that, and you've got infinite options basically for your terrain. And stuff isn't going to like scatter everywhere. Somebody bumps the table because they're all locked together. Combos are great. Yeah, agreed. Plus, I've got some cardboard standee buildings and trees that came with one of the Battletech boxes. So, I've got enough stuff that I should be able to put together a pretty cool table. And I've got enough mechs that I can put together one hell of a fight. But I'll get around to that. So I think I'm going to be signing off here now. I wait till I get to this point before signing off, and usually that's 3.5 hours of streaming before I get there, but this time around I was a little bit quicker, a little bit more efficient. Come on, let me skip the ad. There we go. So yeah, not quite as long as it would usually be, but I still think it was a pretty decent run. I appreciate everybody who stopped in, and I don't need that anymore. I appreciate everybody who stopped in and chatted, said hi, and just kind of hung out. But yeah, I will be back sometime soon on this channel. Actually, next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. I am going to be I'm in the Dragon Age RPG that is streamed on this channel on Mondays at that time. And then later that evening, I'll be in the Curse of Straw D&D 5th Edition stream at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. So, yeah, that is the plan there. Normally, I would be streaming Battletech next Thursday, but my wife and I are going out of town, so I won't be here, so that's not going to happen. So, look for more Battletech stuff 2 Thursdays from now, on the 28th, here on this channel, Stolen Fires. And I'm hoping on the 28th we'll be kicking off our RPG campaign officially for realsies this time. We've had a couple of false starts because of last minute scheduling conflicts, but you know, it happens. It's life. So, painting in the meantime. But hopefully the 28th, fingers crossed, we will strap in, power up our mechs, and start blowing some stuff up. Let's see. DM me later tonight since I'm up, but don't feel obligated. Okay, appreciate that. Been dominating actual play, mechs, and vampires. Yeah, you know, I'm trying to diversify. I don't want to be too pigeonholed into like one genre. But yeah. Anyways, I think that's all I've got for now. I'm going to toss up the schedule for this week so that everybody can see what we have going on Stolen Fires. I think that's the right. Yeah, that's the right one. Again, next Thursday we won't be, or I guess it's technically this week's schedule, but it's basically the same thing next week, with the exception that Solid Metal will be on hiatus while I go drive up through Canada for a while. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you again very much for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Have a fantastic weekend. Try to take advantage of it and enjoy, relax, let off some steam. Maybe get a project or two done if that's the kind of thing you like to do. But either way, I'll see you Monday at 6 Eastern for some Dragon Age. Thanks again, everybody. Take care. Take care and have a good weekend.